I'd like to call the second meeting of the month of November to order. Can you call the roll, Madam Clerk?
Trustee Newell?
Present.
Trustee Palafis?
Present.
Trustee Stanton?
Present.
Trustee Gata?
Present.
Trustee Arnett?
Present.
Trustee Mills?
Present.
Mayor McLeod?
Present. Everybody please rise. You want to lead us in the pledge, Trustee Newell? This meeting is being telecast live on our cable channel and will be reshown throughout the week on the channel. At this time, move down to item number 3, recognition of the audience. This is a time for someone who's got a question or concern for an item that is not on the agenda. Now's the time to come forward. Going once, twice, 3 times, we'll move on. Chair would accept a motion to approve the minutes of the November 4th meeting.
So moved. Second.
There's a motion, a second. Any additions or corrections to the minutes? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it, motion carried. Move on to consent agenda. Chair would accept a motion.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion, a second on the consent agenda. The items on the agenda are A, approval of the agenda, B, approval of the schedule of bills for November 18th, 2019, in the amount of $12,856,323. C, request board approval of an ordinance amending section 5-5-7, sworn personnel, Hoffman Estates Police Department of the Hoffman Estates Municipal Code. D, request board approval of an ordinance amending section 5-6-9, sworn personnel, Hoffman Estates Fire Department of the Hoffman Estates Municipal Code. E, request board approval of an ordinance amending section 12-4-2, rates for water and sewer service of the Hoffman Estates Municipal Code. F, request board approval to award a 2-year contract with a 3rd-year extension option for full-service professional printing services for the monthly citizen newsletter to Press Tech, Des Plaines, Illinois, in an annual amount of $32,530. G, request board authorization to award a contract for the Village Green Master Plan to Tria Architecture, Burr Ridge, Illinois, in an amount not to exceed $108,500. Anybody have any questions or concerns on any of these items? Seeing none, can you poll the board, Madam Clerk?
Trustee Newell?
Aye.
Trustee Palafis?
Aye.
Trustee Stanton?
Aye.
Trustee Gata?
Aye.
Trustee Arnett?
Aye.
Trustee Mills?
Aye.
Mayor McLeod?
Aye, motion carried. Move on to President's Report. We have some proclamations together, Madam Clerk?
I have the first one.
Okay.
This is an Office of the Mayor proclamation. Whereas Universal Children's Day is celebrated annually on November 20th. The goal of Universal Children's Day is to improve child welfare worldwide, promote and celebrate children's rights, and promote togetherness and awareness among our children, among all children. And whereas Universal Children's Day offers us an inspirational entry point to advocate, promote, and celebrate children's rights, translating into dialogues and actions that will build a world fit for children. And whereas childhood is a special time in our lives, it is a time when children, because of their vulnerability, need special consideration, care, nurturing, and protection to ensure they survive, thrive, and realize their full potential as productive members of society. And whereas children do not vote, but special attention should be given to their opinions in school or at home. And these should be represented in the community, media, and in government if we are to understand fully the impact of our policies on their lives. And whereas issues such as education and health care affect children directly and, in many cases, permanently. Comprehensive and far-sighted policy aids the development of children immeasurably. And whereas as adults, we are ultimately responsible for the physical, emotional, and psychological well-being of our world's children. Their future success, or not, rests squarely on our shoulders. Therefore, it is critical that we strive to respect our children as the future generation. Treat them with kindness and give them opportunities to grow their skills in the areas of love, friendship, and fairness. Be it therefore resolved that William D. McLeod, acting under and by virtue of the authority vested in him by the Constitution of the State of Illinois and laws of this village of Hoffman Estates, hereby proclaims Wednesday, November 20th, 2019, as Universal Children's Day in the village of Hoffman Estates, and urges all residents and businesses of Hoffman Estates to join in its observance by telling a child how much you appreciate them and how very special they are.
Chair will accept a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Our children are the most precious to us, and we do have a great responsibility to them, obviously. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have a motion carried. Dr. Savidra, will you accept this? Thank you for the job your department does. Got another member of the Youth Commission for you, too. Okay, who's next?
I am. Office of the Mayor Proclamation. Whereas this national holiday, which was first celebrated in 2010, calls to attention the importance of shopping at the small businesses that serve as the backbone of the American economy and our local communities, including Hoffman Estates, Illinois. And whereas each year Small Business Saturday draws crowds to streets across the country with great deals on unique products and services, events that encourage shopping locally, and unique experiences that introduce you to commonly valued neighbors. And whereas over the years, Small Business Saturday spending has now reached a reported estimated $103 billion since the day began in 2010. That's $103 billion over 9 days alone. And whereas in 2017, an estimated 108 million customers shopped or dined at local businesses on Small Business Saturday, and 70% of U.S. consumers were aware of the holiday, according to surveys. Additionally, nearly 48% of consumers who participated in Small Business Saturday reported that they visited a small business that they had previously had not been to on that day. And whereas advocacy groups as well as public and private organizations across the country have endorsed the Saturday after Thanksgiving as Small Business Saturday, be it therefore resolved that William D. McLeod, acting under and by virtue of the authority vested in him by the Constitution of the State of Illinois and laws of this village of Hoffman Estates, hereby proclaims November 30th, 2019 as Small Business Saturday in the village of Hoffman Estates, and urges all residents and businesses of Hoffman Estates to join in its observance.
Chair will accept a motion.
So moved.
Second.
It's a motion, a second. We really value our small businesses for the services they provide, the jobs they provide, and they support our local organizations, and that's very important. You don't get that from the big boys. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have a motion carried. We do have representatives from the Hoffman Estates Chamber. You want to come on up? We're very, very pleased to have such an active chamber, and they do a great job for all of our business, medium, small, and large. You want to say a few words, Tricia?
Thank you very much, Mayor, and all the trustees. We are very, very excited to be here and to work in such a dynamic community that we have here in Hoffman Estates. I have a few small businesses here, and I thought that if they could
Yeah,
just briefly
sure.
introduce themselves and their business to you.
Want to come on up and speak into the microphone?
Hi, I'm Rick Hogan. My company's called Hogan Systems Consulting. I do computer repairs and IT support for home and small businesses.
My name is Roanne Dunaway. I have a home-based business with Arbonne International, and our company represents health and wellness from the inside and out with skincare, nutrition, and cosmetics.
Great, thank you.
Hi, I'm Gigi Hoover Ledesma. I'm a CPA, and my business is called CPA Tax Services, Inc., and it's located right there next to the Chamber's office.
Great. Welcome to all of you. We do have a motion, a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Come on up. Start over. Yep.
You have to start on this end. Congratulations, right?
Thanks for coming in.
Being in Hoffman. Thank you. Thank you. Beautiful.
Stand up here. We're going to want to get a picture. We're going to get a picture.
Everybody ready? There we go. All right, there we go. 1, 2, 3. Tilt the top toward me just a little bit, Trish. Thank you. 1, 2, 3. One more for good measure. Lovely. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, who's next?
I am. Office of the Mayor Proclamation. Whereas Giving Tuesday was launched in 2012 as a simple idea, to create a day that encourages people to do good. Over the past 7 years, this idea has grown into a global movement that inspires hundreds of millions of people to give, collaborate, and celebrate generosity. And whereas over the past 6 years, local mayors around the country have supported the movement in their communities. The White House has also publicly supported Giving Tuesday along with international leaders at every level of government. And whereas in just 7 years, the Giving Tuesday movement has raised more than $1 billion online and then in the U.S. alone. And whereas people demonstrate generosity in many ways on Giving Tuesday, whether it's helping a neighbor or a stranger out, showing up for an issue or people we care about, or giving to causes we care about. Every act of generosity counts. Giving Tuesday has raised billions of dollars for critical causes around the world and gets 14.2 billion impressions on social media from people and organizations speaking up for the causes that matter to them and encouraging others to get involved. And whereas Giving Tuesday strives to build a world in which the catalytic power of generosity is at the heart of the society we build together, unlocking dignity, opportunity, and equity around the globe. Be it therefore resolved that William D. McLeod, acting under and by virtue of the authority vested in him by the Constitution of the State of Illinois and laws of this village of Hoffman Estates, hereby proclaim December 3rd, 2019 as Giving Tuesday in the village of Hoffman Estates and urge all residents and businesses of Hoffman Estates to join in its observance.
Chair will accept a motion.
So moved.
Second.
This is a really great idea and has really bloomed over the years. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? You guys have a motion carried. Dr. Savija, want to trot up here one more time? Thank you. Okay, we've got, I got a couple appointments. One, trustee Michael Gata to the Senior Commission. Chair would accept a motion.
So move.
Motion a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Motion carried. Congratulations, trustee Gata. And also Arnaud Monnier to the Arts Commission. Chair would accept a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Motion carried. We have one resignation, Mark Ingram from the Commission for People with Disabilities.
So moved.
Second.
Motion a second. We regret the fact that he has to resign. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? The ayes have a motion carried. We do have some things going on this week. We have Wine Wednesday will be held at Rosati's located at 3061 North Barrington Road from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. this Wednesday, November 20th, in conjunction with the Hoffman Estates Chamber of Commerce Business After Hours. Everyone is welcome, and as always, we will collect items for our local food depositories. Join us for food and conversation. Health and Human Services is hosting Therapy Dog Thursday on November 21st from 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. at the Village Hall South Entrance. This is an opportunity for residents to interact with therapy dogs and learn more about the benefits of therapy. Therapy dogs have been shown to reduce stress, help individuals cope with physical and mental health issues, and reduce blood pressure. Therapy dogs and their owners from Therapy Dogs International will be on site providing comfort and education. For more information, to sign up, call 847-781-4850. The Sears Center Arena presents the Mother Trucking Booze Fest this Saturday, November 23rd. Doors open at 11 a.m., and the event will feature craft beer and small batch craft cocktails, food trucks, live music, and much more. Tickets can be purchased at www.searscenter.com. That is a very popular and growing event. The Celebrations Commission is inviting all residents and neighbors to the annual Friendship Tree Lighting this Saturday, November 23rd at the Village Hall. This exciting family-friendly event will feature refreshments, a visit with Santa and Mrs. Claus, entertainment, lighting of the trees, and of course, fireworks. Festivities kick off at 5 p.m. To hope to see you here. Trustee Clerk Romanoff is the chair of that committee, and they always do a great job. Okay, last week on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, Trustee Stanton and I were in Springfield, Illinois, lobbying. The pension consolidation bill did pass in a form. There was some last-minute intrigue, but it did go through, and so I'm pleased with that. I mean, you never get everything you want, but we've come a long ways. I never thought we'd get this far with the pension consolidation. Came home on Thursday, and then we all were at the Special Finance Committee meeting budget workshop, which Chairperson Palafis did a great job on. Thank you very much. And on Friday, we had the sleep number ribbon cutting out west, 2530 North Sutton Road. And after that, I accompanied my daughter-in-law to the Hanover Township Food Pantry. Amanda did photo shoots for the benefit of the food pantry, and they had a lot of food. It filled up my whole car, the whole SUV. And she also got $1,850 in cash for the food pantry, so they were undoubtedly, as you can imagine, quite delighted. And Friday night, I read a proclamation for Greg Ring for his 60th birthday. Greg is the vice chairman of our Planning and Zoning Commission. And a lot of people there, and he was actually really surprised. Anita Forte Scott pulled it off beautifully. On Saturday the 16th, I went with a couple of my grandkids and saw Paw Patrol. I saw like Trustee Mills was there too. The show was actually good. I wasn't quite sure how they were going to pull this off, but it was quite entertaining. The only downside was the songs they were singing sort of stick in your head for a while. But it was very nicely done. It wasn't too long, which was good. And later in the afternoon, I went to Gigi's Playhouse where they had a remembrance for Nadia, who worked at Hugs and Mugs, a really wonderful young lady, and she unfortunately passed away a couple of months ago. It was a great loss for everybody there. I mean, she always had a smile on her face. I mean, she was just wonderful. And then this afternoon, trustee, can't take the pay cut. Manager Norris and I participated in the pension fairness call, sort of recapping what happened in the bill that passed last week, waiting for the governor to sign. Move on to trustee comments. We'll start with Trustee Newell.
Okay, very simple. On the 5th of this month, had a sustainability meeting. On the 6th was the CIB meeting, and on the 12th was the Cub Utility. We popped our heads in there where they kind of took a look at your utility bills to see if there's anything they can improve on. And on the 14th, the budget workshop, which the mayor had mentioned was run by Trustee Palafis, and we're all good. And that's all I have.
Okay, Trustee Gata.
Okay, on Tuesday, November 5th, attended the Fire Police Commission interviews for the police department at the police station. And then on Wednesday, the 6th, attended the Capital Improvements Board here at the Village Hall. As you had indicated, that trustee, let's see, what's his name? Falafis. He did an excellent job. Anyways, then on Saturday, the 9th, went to the French Revolution retelling program, right, presented by this Barbara Ranella. And again, thank you to the Sister Cities for putting it on. They had a very good crowd that was there on that Saturday. Then on Sunday, November 10th, the mayor and I attended the Eagle Court of Honor for Alec, whatever, 601 Bartlett Road in Bartlett. And on Monday, I had 3 events to be going to that started. The first one started at 7:30 a.m., which was at the St. Hubert's Church for their Veterans Day assembly. They had a good turnout, and Mayor McLeod and Trustee Gary Stanton was with me also. Then from there, if we get this up, there we go. And then from there, I went to Whiteley School for their Veterans Day event, and I was asked by my 6-year-old friend, Ella, to be a speaker there. And that was the first time that I ever was talking to sixth graders, right, as far as being a veteran and so forth. And of course, Ella's a good friend of mine, even though she's 6 years old. There's no way that I could refuse her, right? And by the way, Mayor McLeod was there also with me for a while. Then from there, went to Hoffman Estates Veterans Day ceremony at the police station, and that's always an excellent turnout. Then on Tuesday, the 12th, senior citizens meeting here at Village Hall, and we just made an appearance at the Citizens Utility Board meeting, right, that was being held here. So then, let's see, Wednesday, November 13th, District 54 Partnership Annual 25th breakfast meeting at Meade Junior High School in Elk Grove. And by the way, Chief, I was honored that the patrolmen that were there and the lieutenant and so forth, right, that they asked me to sit at their table. Okay, so yes, had a very enjoyable time with them for it. Let's see, where else? Oh, yes, on the 15th, we had a ribbon cutting at Sleep Number Store, 2530 North Sutton. Then on Saturday, Fire and Police Commission interviews for a lieutenant's position. And then from there, came over here to Sparrow Bolt Workshop here at Village Hall for young people. And that was very, very interesting. And they had laid out on the, like a maze. And so the kids were actually working this robot in and out on this maze. It was interesting to see. And not only that, the 3 high school girls, that two of them built a robot that goes underwater. Okay? You should have seen that one for it, right? But anyways, but that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Mills.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, I had a lot of busy things with the family over the last couple of weeks. Twice in 11-5 and 11-7, went out to 2 concerts out in Sycamore for my granddaughter, one being a chorus concert, one being an orchestra concert, and both were great. On the 6th, attended the Capital Improvements Board meeting. On the weekend of the 8th, we celebrated our granddaughter's 12th birthday, so she had a very busy week. The 9th, we took our grandkids to the Windy City Bulls for opening night game, which was lots of fun. Unfortunately, they didn't pull off the win, but they did a good job trying. On the 11th, attended the Veterans Day ceremony over at the police department. Due to the weather, unfortunately, we had to bring it inside, but they still did a great job, and thanks to the Hoffman Estates High School Band and their director and leaders for taking everything in stride and still performing a great show. On the 14th, I attended the Special Finance Committee meeting. And on the 16th, also got to stop in for a couple minutes at the Sparrow Boat Workshop before taking 2 little ones to see Paw Patrol. And luckily, one of them had just barely gotten out of the hospital the night before so that she could be there. And one sad note was on Friday, had to attend a memorial service for a young man who grew up in Hoffman Estates, Philip Whitman, the son of neighbors of mine who've been here over 40-some years, who died suddenly last week. So that was a sad thing, and we send condolences to he and his family and friends.
Okay, Trustee Stanton.
Thank you. I'll try and make this shorter. On the 6th of November, I was able to attend the Capital Improvements Board meeting. On the 9th of November, I stopped by at the Digital Photography Workshop, and I want to thank the Arts Commission for putting that on. I didn't quite understand what was going on myself. I'm not electronically, at least for photography, involved. I'm challenged, actually. And I did attend the Windy City Bulls game on the 9th. The 11th, I attended St. Hubert's Veterans Day Assembly. As the mayor has mentioned, he and I went down to Springfield from the 12th to the 14th. We got back just in time to sit in on the finances, or the special finance meeting. And then on the 18th, today, I attended a meeting regarding Barrington and I-90 plans with the mayor and village staff and consultants that were hired to do some of the planning there. And that's it.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Arnett.
Thank you. Also, on the 6th, I also attended the CIP meeting. On the 9th, also attended the home opener for the Windy City Bulls with my family. On the 14th, also attended the special finance meeting. And on the 16th, also attended the Sphere Bolt workshop. And my compliments to the one senior and 2 sophomores who put that on. They did a very good job, and it was a very good attendance. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you very much. Move on to 6C, Village Manager's Report.
Mr. Palafis.
Oh, I forgot Mr. Palafis. Sorry about that.
It's okay. I'm unusually quiet.
Yeah, you are unusually quiet.
Much of what all of you said, thanks for everyone who came to the Capital Improvement Board meeting. It's great to have you there and get input, as well as the Budget Committee meeting. Thanks to Rachel and all of your staff at large for all the work that you've done, pulling all of that together, and going to the practice runs and getting the storyline down to be tight. Appreciate all of that work. Had the Platts Concert Commission this evening, which we're excited about again. Had a good year this last year here, and we're looking forward to doing that again. Also was a part of the Veterans Day celebration. Many thanks to the HEHS band for coming. And it was interesting and fun to see Bruce in his new role as chaplain. How about that? I also attended earlier that morning Dirksen Elementary School for Veterans Day. It was a bunch of second graders that were singing all the patriotic songs, which was pretty cool. So I attended with my wife, Michelle, and my brother-in-law, James, and a couple of the District 54 board members who are friends of mine, Mary Kay Prusnick and Jim Pye. So that was pretty cool. They were really excited that they had somewhat of an audience of us. Also attended the Windy City Bulls home opener. Went with a bunch of our friends and, saw all of the great play. Unfortunately, like Trustee Mills said, they lost. They made a good rush at the end there, but didn't get there. But what I think I enjoyed most was all of the performing groups in the area. The dance teams, the cheerleading groups, the singers, the band was all really great. And then, last but not least, congratulations to Mr. Norris for his 10 years of work on the pension work that finally got passed. So now you need to do something else for the next 10 years. Maybe we could vote on that tonight.
We can find something. I'm
That's
sure.
right. That's right. We could brainstorm. But that's all for me. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Trustee Palafis. Now we'll move on to 6C, Village Manager's Report.
Thank you on the pension bill and our efforts. It was definitely a statewide effort, and there was still work to be done. So it's not like we're done. Now we have to make sure it's implemented correctly, and there's some things that definitely need to be cleaned up in a trailer bill, which we are told will be coming. The second thing I wanted to mention is that we've been working with Groot again this year because the absolutely bizarre weather we've been having, and we will be extending yard waste pickup through the first 2 weeks in December, which means that it will be I had it on my phone, and my phone decided to go back to this lock screen. So it'll be picked up on the 9th and the 11th of December. And if we get close to those dates and this many leaves are still hanging on the trees, frozen there, I think, we'll try to get Groot to extend it even further. And lastly, Mr. Kramer and I were approached by NBC Sports, the former Comcast sports network, and
Quarterback for the Bears?
I'm not going to play quarterback
Kevin's
for the
gonna
Bears.
kick?
Their offensive line is so bad that a 60-year-old plus like me would get killed. Because if Trubisky is younger and he's getting killed, I definitely would. But they offered us the opportunity to do 30-second spots because they're televising all the games, and we've taken them up on that offer. And Rick has been producing some spots, and so. If you get a chance to watch the games on TV, please look for the spots. It's a great way to put the village's name forward. And we're doing it, a variety of them. There's some more about the residential quality of Hoffman Estates, some about the commercial and business quality of the village, and some that on all of the above. So we are promoting the village multiple ways, but I wanted the board to know.
Mr. Norris, now we still have small electronic pickup one more week?
Yes,
believe.
that is Suzanne.
We may want
You're
to
hiding
just
behind the
mention
post.
that. Yeah,
25th.
next Monday.
Right.
Okay, so
next
that
Monday.
people know.
But then year-round, it can be taken to the Glenview Transfer Station.
Okay.
Or we've got this smaller
Small
ones
electronic.
And tiny,
Okay.
tiny stuff can come here to the Village
Okay.
Hall, phones and such. And that's it, sir.
Glad I went to electronic recycling today. huh? Okay, we'll move on to 6D, Village Clerk's Report.
I was going to talk about the tree lighting, but Mayor already covered it, so I've got nothing.
It's always a fantastic event.
I've got one other thing to say. We have a Windy City Bulls game on Wednesday, so for all those people that are out there that want to go to the Windy City Bulls game, come on out.
At night?
It's 7 o'clock. Yep. And by the way, they've won every game away, so they're 3-1. The only game they lost was that initial home game.
Like the Astros.
They're doing way better than the big bulls are. Okay, we've got the treasurer's report.
Village Treasurer has prepared his report for the month of September, and it's ready for your review.
Okay, will be received and filed. Anybody have any questions on the treasurer's report? Okay. Move on to committee reports. Finance, trustee Palafis.
Yes, sir. On the evening of November 25th at 7 o'clock sharp, we will call to order the Finance Committee, and we will provide a roll call to establish quorum, have an approval of the minutes for October 28th and November 14th special meeting. At this time, there's no items under new business. However, we have the three reports from Finance and Information Systems and Sear Center that will be accepted and received and filed. We'll have a president's report and then adjourn.
Okay, thank you. Public Works and Utilities.
Okay, immediately following the Finance Committee, we'll have the Public Work and Utility Committee on November 25th. We'll have a roll call, the approval of minutes for October 28th, 2019. And under new business, we have three items. Item number one will be request approval of change order to the contract with Water Well Solutions of Elborn, Illinois, for the abandonment of well 9 in an amount of to be determined for a total not to exceed to be determined. Item number two, request authorization toward contract for tower painting and miscellaneous maintenance work at Stonington Boulevard Tower, which is T2, and Huntington Boulevard Tower, which is the T4, to LC United Painting Company out of Sterling Heights, Michigan, in an amount not to exceed $700,000. Item number three, request authorization to award contract for purchase of snow removal tractor 2 to be determined, which will be the low bid with opening on 11/14/19 in an amount not to exceed to be determined. Then we will have reports which are for information only. First one will be Department of Public Works monthly report. The second will be Department of Development Services monthly engineering report of the Transportation and Engineering Division. If the president has anything additional to add, nothing under other items in review, and then we will adjourn.
Thank you, trustee Newell. Public Health and Safety, trustee Gata.
Yes, immediately following Public Works and Utilities Committee, Public Health and Safety Committee will call their meeting to order on November 25th, 2019. We'll have a roll call to establish quorum. Number two, approval of the minutes of October 28th, 2019. Under new business, we only have one item. Request approval of mutual aid agreement between the Village of Hoffman Estates and other Maybest communities for emergency medical and transportation services. Under reports information only, the four items are Police Department monthly report, Health and Human Services monthly report, the Emergency Management Coordinator monthly report, the Fire Department monthly report. If there's anything in the President's report other than nothing in other items in review, and we will adjourn.
Thank you, trustee Gata. Move on to 7, Planning and Zoning Commission reports. Chairperson Combs. How are you? Fine. Good evening, everyone. Good evening.
Planning and Zoning Commission recommended for approval a request by Bright Hope International owner and Ash Angels Friedman and Logan LLC applicant for a special use under Section 9-9-1-C-2-L for an indoor sports training facility on the property located at 2070 Stonington Avenue with 2 conditions. Vote was 10 ayes, 1 absent.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion, a second. Is Bright Hope running this?
No,
No, they're renting it out?
right, yes.
Anybody have any questions? Trustee Mills?
Does this still stay then that they don't pay taxes?
exemption?
Yeah.
I believe the two groups that are actually using the training facility are both nonprofit groups as well. So that wouldn't alter, to my knowledge of, I'm not certain.
Or are they charging, they'd be charging for,
We may have to, the petitioner is actually here, he may be able to speak to that more directly if.
Come up and identify yourself for the record, gentlemen.
Good evening. I'm Lawrence Friedman, the attorney for petitioner. CH, introduce yourself.
Sure. C.H. Dyer, president of Bright Hope.
And the trustee's question?
Yes.
Repeated, please.
was it that the company will be paying Bright Hope then? I mean, will people have to pay for these services to be part of the group?
They'll be paying Bright Hope for use of the premises, but I believe that the services are part of these programs. I don't think they're charged for them. They are mostly available to local high school students. They are existing programs, and they are not-for-profits, and the entity that runs the programs will be paying them rent, but I don't believe the students pay to participate.
Does this qualify then as a nonprofit?
Yes, even
Yeah,
if
they're-
they were
every-
paying a fee, it could still be a nonprofit, absolutely.
Every user in there is a not-for-profit, trustee.
Okay.
Any other questions? Just, you have something you want to say, Corporation Counsel?
I'm not so certain that just being a non-for-profit means that you're exempt from property taxes.
No, my answer didn't go that far. It was just that there are many nonprofits that offer sports and recreation activities.
Okay.
It all depends on what they do with the money they receive. If they're doing it to pay for the facilities lease and there's no salaries paid, and even if there's salaries paid, you can still be a nonprofit. It just depends on what your mission is and whether it falls under the state law and the IRS laws.
We don't believe, if you're talking about the real estate taxes,
That's correct.
yeah, we do not believe any of these uses will change the status of the building.
What are the uses?
You have a church use, you have Bright Hope's use, and you will have the youth camp or training facility, which we're asking you to approve tonight. Those are the three uses in the building. And just as the case of the prior two uses, we don't believe the fact that there's a not-for-profit paying rent. I mean, there are churches, for example, that charge rent to other churches, and I've had filings that I've done with the assessor's office, that the fact that there is a consideration changing hands between a user and the owner of the building doesn't necessarily at all change the real estate tax exemption.
So you believe they're all religious uses?
Well, I believe that Bright Hope is a religious and/or charitable use. I believe the church obviously is a religious use, and this is a not-for-profit educational use operated by, essentially the two operators are both high school teachers here. And it's a not-for-profit, and they are qualified as such. That wouldn't be religious, though, but it still would qualify.
Thank you.
Anyone else have anything? If not, we do have a motion and a second. You want to poll the board, Madam Clerk?
Aye.
Trustee Palafis?
Aye.
Trustee Stanton?
Aye.
Trustee Gata?
Aye.
Trustee Arnett?
Aye.
Trustee Mills?
Aye.
Mayor McLeod?
Aye. Motion carried.
Planning and Zoning Commission recommended for approval a request by Bright Hope International owner and Ash Andrews Friedman and Logan LLC applicant for an amendment to a special use under Section 9-9-1-C-2-L on the property located at 2060 to 2080 Stonington Avenue with 10 conditions. Vote was 10 ayes, 1 absent.
I'll make a motion to approve the request.
Second.
It's a motion and a second. Any questions from anybody? Trustee Mills?
Now, you're not, these changes, this does not pertain to the parking that was, or changes that were already on, or conditions that were on there, or what?
Yes, so when the church first moved in, there was a lot of discussion about parking, and they had projected growth, substantial growth, which and led to the creation of conditions that they should come back and expand the parking on the site. That church facility has not expanded their membership or their attendance at all. The board, a couple of years ago, extended that condition that they gave them more time to come back to expand the parking. There was talk potentially about the building being sold, and additional time has lapsed where that condition's coming due again about expanding the parking. The church is still not in any kind of position. They really don't forecast growth beyond where their current membership is. So the petitioner is asking to drop the condition that required the parking to be expanded.
Okay, but all these other items where it says, under your finding of fact, you've got the one condition, which is a special use is granted. Based on the condition, the property owner shall comply with all building code requirements. Then you also list like 10 other items. Are any of those being dropped besides the parking expansion?
No, the rest of the conditions would remain in place.
Everything, and the petitioner understands that? Can you put it on the microphone just so we have it?
We understand that none of the conditions, other than our having to come back with proposals about a parking expansion,
Okay.
which we don't think is appropriate anymore, is
Okay.
indicated. None of those other conditions are changed, and we're aware of that.
And they're not going to be having any practices or that while the church is holding sessions there? I
No, and
take-
in fact, the testimony before the Planning and Zoning Commission was that they would keep their hours indefinite on Sunday in order to coordinate with the church
Right,
as to
I
not
did see that.
interfere.
The only thing I question is, I know it says in the testimony that you don't expect parents to be staying. I mean, I know from other experiences, a lot of times parents will stay just to watch their kids too, and to see how they're coming along.
We
So-
talked at length with them about that, and they've operated this facility, two separate facilities, in fact, and their experience is it doesn't happen. And they don't encourage it, and they don't create an
Okay.
area for
Is it
it.
strictly high school age kids?
Yes,
Okay, so it's not younger kids?
it is, my understanding is it's not. I think they're high school students. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? See none, we do have a motion, a second. Can you call the roll, Madam Clerk?
Trustee Newell? Trustee Palafis?
Aye.
Trustee Stanton?
Aye.
Trustee Gata?
Aye.
Trustee Arnett?
Aye.
Trustee Mills?
Aye.
Mayor McLeod?
Aye, motion carried.
Planning and Zoning Commission recommended for approval a request by Hoffman Estates Acquisitions LLC and Somerset Development LLC owner for a site plan amendment for the Phase 1 office and retail occupancy of a portion of the existing Bellworks building at 2000 Center Drive with 5 conditions. A vote was 10 ayes, 1 absent.
I'll make a motion to approve the request.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
A second. Any questions on this item? Seeing none, can you call the roll, Madam Clerk?
Trustee Newell?
Aye.
Trustee Palafis?
Aye.
Trustee Stanton?
Aye.
Trustee Gata?
Aye.
Trustee Arnett?
Aye.
Trustee Mills?
Aye.
Mayor McLeod?
Aye, motion carried.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Chairperson Combs. We move down to 8, additional business. 8A, request board ratification of Sears Center General Manager's authorization for emergency repair as specified in the Spectrum Management Agreement to the Sears Center Arena parking lot to Schroeder Asphalt Service, Inc. of Huntley, Illinois, in the amount of $218,000.
Make a motion to approve the request.
Second.
We have a motion, second. Any questions on this? Seeing none, can you call the roll, Madam Clerk?
Trustee Newell?
Aye.
Trustee Palafis?
Aye.
Trustee Stanton?
Aye.
Trustee Gata?
Aye.
Trustee Arnett?
Aye.
Trustee Mills?
Aye.
Mayor McLeod?
Aye, motion carried. 8B, request board approval of a performance contracting agreement between Siemens Industry, Inc. and the Village of Hoffman Estates for the replacement of residential and commercial water meters, conversions to LED streetlights, and the installation of an advanced metering infrastructure system. Chair
So
to
moved.
accept a motion.
I'll second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion on this item? Seeing none, can you poll the board, Madam Clerk?
Trustee Newell?
Aye.
Trustee Palafis?
Aye.
Trustee Stanton?
Aye.
Trustee Gata?
Aye.
Trustee Arnett?
Aye.
Trustee Mills?
Aye.
Mayor McLeod?
Aye, motion carried. Chair would accept the motion to adjourn into executive session for which purposes, Trustee Mills?
I'll make the motion, we adjourn into executive session for land acquisition, 5 ILCS 120/2C6, for litigation, 5 ILCS 120/2C11, and collective bargaining, 5 ILCS 120/2C2.
I'll second.
We have a motion, a second. Any discussion on this item? Seeing none, can you pull the board, Madam Clerk?
Trustee Newell?
Aye.
Trustee Palafis?
Aye.
Trustee Stanton?
Aye.
Trustee Gata?
Aye.
Trustee Arnett?
Aye.
Trustee Mills?
Aye.
Mayor McLeod?
Aye, motion carried. We are adjourning to executive session, and we will not come out in open session this evening. Thank you very much.